And jackpot. Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your number one chief rocker in Knicks Universe, your main man, Uncle Freezie. I'm joined by the Queen Bee from Dope Soul Sports Talk. Queen Bee, how you doing today?
I'm good. I say this every week. I look forward to our spots, our weekly spots to chomp it up about the Knicks.
Right, right. All right. So I have been pelted,
hmm
smothered,
hmm
covered, coated, right?
hmm
Rained on about RJ Barrett being the trade piece for any big trade. And my thing is if RJ Barrett, when did RJ Barrett become a blue chipper? You know what I'm saying? Like how is every trade scenario that we hear, RJ Barrett is the centerpiece? And then at the
Right.
same time, if we don't value him, what makes us think other teams are going to value RJ Barrett?
That's an excellent point. Whenever I hear RJ Barrett headlining a trade, I automatically think if we're bringing in someone better, we have to add pieces to RJ Barrett. It's not going to be a one-on-one, and it's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be like a little sweetener. RJ Barrett, let's throw in a second round pick. Barrett, all right, let's throw in a heavily protected first round pick. He just hasn't. There were some flashes in the playoffs that make you believe more is coming.
Right,
But if a team is looking at his entire body of work, you're going to have to pony up,
right,
depending on who you're going after.
right, right. And at the time that it happened, RJ Barrett was a 22-year-old. And a lot of 22-year-olds don't necessarily show that type of flash in the playoffs.
Right.
And he's turned 23 since then. And I know it seems like only a few days, but things are, but the numbers are what they are, Um, my thing with the Knicks roster and this front office, I don't think the Knicks are going to do anything. I don't think they can. And I don't think they have the ability to execute a major trade. I'm in that the small minority of thinking
hmm
the players that you know about right now are the players that are going to be rocking with us up until the trade deadline. And then at the trade deadline, I think they're going to try to pull off another Josh Hart type move as opposed to being able to pull off um, something major laser. You feel me? So
Yeah.
I think they're depending on the internal improvement, which is not necessarily a bad thing when you have young pieces that are looking to develop and contribute if they can stay healthy.
Right.
Um,
I agree with you, but I think that's only because nothing is out there. Like, if you ask me, I don't think the Knicks are committed to this young core. I don't think the Knicks believe that this young core is going to be, if you just let them rock a little bit, let them marinate, they're going to be the ones to, I don't help you get to become a championship contender. But what I do think they're saying is until something comes up that we really like, we're going to just keep rocking the way we are. And I'm not mad.
I'm that is so. You just broke my Knicks heart in a million pieces.
Yeah.
You just broke you just broke my Knicks heart in a million pieces. I need to put on as soon as I heard you going down this road. I felt like I needed to put on a slow jam, like one of them R&B groups from the '90s. So one of them whining light skinned dudes. You know what I'm saying? Need to come up here and sing. You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is, as soon as you said that, I'm thinking, well, why didn't they pull the trigger on Donovan Mitchell last season? If that was the case, right? Because and the reason why you broke my heart is not the fact that I'm absolutely in love with every Nick that has ever played the game.
Right.
What I'm saying is I am frustrated that opportunities pass and we allow it to pass. Like if that was the case, why not get in on the Bradley Beal trade then at least? And I know people are gonna say Bradley Beal's not a game changing, but Knicks fans, Bradley Beal, for the most part, Bradley Beal would have came here and been one of the greatest shooting guards to ever play the position for the Knicks. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Like our production at a lot of positions, when you look at it, when we look at them, outside of center, outside of center, every other position is kind of up for debate. Like, can we go get a guy that could have a Bernard King, Carmelo Anthony impact on today's Knicks? Yes. If you go get a Zach Levine or Bradley Beal, is he better than anybody that has played for the Knicks at that position? I mean, I'm looking back at our history of the two. Do you remember anybody? Any great
No,
Knicks shooting guards?
no. I mean, you can. Some people would point to Allen Houston, but I think Bradley Beal is better than Allen Houston.
And Allen Houston wasn't great. Allen Houston was good. I think sometimes we elevate him because he was a Knick, but Allen Houston was good, but he wasn't. And respect to Allen Houston too. By the way, every time I see that man, I'll scream H2O, and he'll turn around and he'll wave. And if he in distance, man, he'll shake your hand or something. Shout out to Allen Houston. I just don't think that when you look at the history of shooting guards for the Knicks, but okay, but if we're on the RJ thing, like if RJ Barrett is the centerpiece of a trade, then what can we get if we use RJ Barrett as a trade chip?
By himself
No,
or
as
as part of a
as
package.
part of a package. Yeah, yeah.
You can get anybody you want, depending on how much you're going to put with them.
Okay.
You can get if you're gonna put IQ and Grimes with RJ, you can get anybody. You can get anybody you want. You throw in 5 draft picks, you can get anybody you want.
Right.
So it just depends on who you want.
Would you do RJ for DeAndre Hunter?
I would, but for me, it's because I value two-way players.
Right.
I value two-way players, so I would.
Okay. Okay.
Would Atlanta do that? Because one of the things that was brought up is a lot of teams, not just the Knicks, are looking for spacing.
Right.
So when a team is trading for RJ Barrett, they have to think about how he fits with their team. So if you're Atlanta, don't you want shooting around Trae Young?
I think RJ Barrett would absolutely break out in Atlanta.
Hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely be a different player in Atlanta, and we'd be having that conversation of every time we're not patient. And the reason why I say that is if RJ Barrett is just because Atlanta's issue is spacing, but Atlanta's issue is also they don't have guys off the ball that can dribble, pass, and shoot. Right. So it's when if it's not Murray or Trae Young creating, it's nobody. You know what I'm saying? So from an Atlanta perspective, I think RJ Barrett would go there and become an entirely new person. It RJ Barrett and Trae Young together would create offense that keeps defenses off of Trae Young. You know
But
what I'm saying? Now you have
why would RJ be able to do that there with Trae, and he can't do that here with Brunson
because
with the usage that he gets? Because it's not like he doesn't touch the ball.
yeah, but it's not about usage though. It's about personnel. See, the difference is here. The difference is here. Even though Jalen Brunson shoots 41% from three,
Mm-hmm.
and he shot 47% as a catch and shoot player,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who's setting up Jalen Brunson for 3-point shots?
But that's not the question. The question is, why would RJ Barrett do better in Atlanta than he is here?
Right. And but that is absolutely where I'm going with it though.
Okay.
If you hear me out on this, the thing I was getting at is the off ball guy in Atlanta is DeJounte Murray. The
Mhm.
off ball guy here is Grimes, right? And so when a defense has to respect everybody on the floor, you just create spacing. You don't even have to be 3-point shooting. It could be slashing. It could be, what I'm saying, screening away from the ball, setting somebody up. What I'm saying? It's a lot of things us outside of just shooting the 3-pointer from 35 feet is what I'm getting at. Like, and we see what the Knicks is RJ can't do it because of the fact that we always have can't thrive because we always have clogged paints and non-shooters on the floor with RJ. You put RJ in a system where you don't have a clogged paint, and then you have dudes that can shoot, but that just can't create. I think RJ thrives in that. I know that sounds like spin cycle, right? But
Well, because on Atlanta, first of all, let's acknowledge that he's part of the reason why the paint is clogged because he can't
right,
hit the three. So his
right,
guy can sag off, a little bit.
right,
So in Atlanta, if you got Trey Young and you got DeJounte Murray, let's say, and
right.
playing the Grimes role, DeJounte Murray is better. And then you got RJ Barrett. I don't understand. Are you saying that Murray would create more space for him here than Grimes does, because they also have a center in Capella who's right in the key, just like Mitchell Robinson.
Ooh, wait. Slow down. First of all, Mitchell Robinson is not Clint Capella on offense. Let's not
I
go down that
understand that,
road.
but in terms of how they
Let-
use him, it's not
right.
like they throw the ball down to him. Basically, he's in the paint off those pick and rolls for the lob as well.
Well,
He's
first,
better at it than Mitchell Robinson. They look for him more than
they
they
not.
look
It's
for
not
Mitchell
even
Robinson.
close. It's not even close. Clint Capella is a screen and roll man that can screen and can roll and can catch and can finish. Mitch is the guy who sets a ghost screen, rolls to the rim, doesn't look for the pass, all of that stuff. He has to catch it within 3 feet to finish. They are totally different.
I wouldn't say totally different, but I get what you're saying, that Capella does it better than Mitchell Robinson does it. But I'm talking about the player who's defending Mitchell Robinson is in the key. The player who's defending Clint Capella is in the key. So how much space is there going to be for RJ Barrett? It's not like Clint Capella is a stretch five, is the point I'm trying to make.
But you can't be a stretch five and a pick and roll five. It's just not. That's just not how this thing works.
I understand. But the point was RJ Barrett would thrive more in Atlanta. So
Right.
I want to know, why would he thrive more in Atlanta when Clint Capella's
Okay.
man, in terms of spacing, because I think the way Atlanta is set up, the
Right.
spacing would probably be the same. Who's spacing for Atlanta? It's not Clint Capella. Is
Right.
is Murray is his 3-point shooting is better. So
Right.
Murray is, but Grimes is doing. So this is my point. RJ Barrett is RJ Barrett. I don't think it is the system that's holding RJ Barrett back. I think it's RJ Barrett's skill set that's holding him back.
All right.
I don't
And
think
so
it's about. I don't think it's about spacing.
and for the point about Atlanta, they have better overall offensive talent. That's just basically what it is. What I'm getting to, they just have better overall offensive talent. Is that talent they have better defensively than the Knicks? I don't think so. I think we have better defensive talent. But when it comes to these guys, can create their own shot and create shots for others. And if you take the ball out of Brunson hands, we don't have dudes that can create for themselves and others. That's just what it is.
Okay, I
RJ,
hear you. I hear you. I just don't see where RJ would thrive better. And I think they have better defensive players. I think Murray is just as good a defender as Grimes. I think DeAndre Hunter is a better defensive player than RJ Barrett.
Grimes is an okay defender, and he's still young. He'll get there someday. This year might be the year where Grimes becomes a lockdown defender. But one of the things that we say in Knicks universe is because we see Grimes on the other team's best offensive player all the time. We think he's good at it. He's not good at it yet. He is used in that role a lot. I think the only person that we didn't, I think the only person in the NBA, I think Grimes is like second or third when it comes to that. When, being used on the other team's best offensive player. But in terms of Grimes stopping, Grimes is not that guy yet.
Right.
Now Emmanuel quickly is that guy, and this is not just stuff that I'm making up. Is as I researched this we got this from some site that everybody using now. I think it's like 538 or whatever it is, and it proves that quickly is the better on ball. I mean, the better on ball and off ball defender than Grimes right now, but quickly is not as big as stout as Grimes,
Right.
right?
But you
But
said that we have better defenders than Atlanta. I don't see
yeah,
that.
yeah, I think so. I'm just by those two dudes I mentioned, by quickly, by quick, and also Dante DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo is ranked 11th for his position. The 2/1 position that he'll play in guards. DiVincenzo is ranked 11th overall. Josh Hart is ranked 78th.
Okay.
And
Let's talk about the starting lineup. Okay, I get you talking to the bench.
right. But no, but
Okay, I get you. If you're throwing in the bench, but in that starting lineup, the only weak point is Trey Young. Well, Collins is gone. I don't know who's going to play for. We only got one defender, and I was two defenders in our starting lineup, Mitch and Grimes.
okay.
Right?
Mm,
But I hear you when you start going down the line, and then you start going into, who we bringing off the bench. Okay.
yeah, I think I don't want to do that though. That's too easy. That's coming in for a soft landing because the starters don't play 48 minutes.
But they play the majority of the
The,
minutes.
the the teams play team defense, and you play 9 to 10 guys a night. So to
Okay.
just say just the starters, that's just just I think we just trying to
Right
pivot on the
now,
thing about RJ.
I mean, we can get back to RJ. Right now, I would take Murray over Grimes, and I would take DeAndre Hunter over RJ Barrett defensively and offensively.
Okay, yeah,
But I hear you. You bring in Hart
but that
now.
but that
Now
but
Hart
that
is a
would be
great
the
defender.
who
Now Hart is a great defender.
who said that?
Well, you said he's a pretty, I
I
always
I
say,
didn't say that. I said he was ranked 78th for his position.
oh, okay. So then how are the Knicks better Anyway, let's get back to RJ Barrett.
Right.
Let's get back to RJ Barrett.
The thing that's for all these reasons, I'm trying to figure out why RJ Barrett would be the centerpiece of a trade when everybody sees these things that you see, right? Like how are we being told? How are we being told um, that the big trade is out there, right? But then we go on into the big trade with RJ Barrett as the piece. I don't know. I don't know if that's realistic. Because
I agree.
in my mind, and you know how much I love Julius Randle, right? You know how much I love Julius Randle. But in my mind, if we're looking to do the big trade, Julius Randle should be the piece to be moved, right? And it's not because Randle's a bad person, a bad player, a bad teammate, none of that. But when you start a trade package with a multiple time all-star, no matter who it is that you're looking to get, when you start with offering a multiple time all-star, that just ramps up all of this stuff. If you start with RJ Barrett or Grimes, or RJ Barrett and Grimes, or RJ Barrett and Grimes and quickly, I think you don't get anywhere. And for that reason, I think we don't have the Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, Paul George, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell type guy right now, because we start our packages with, we're like, hey man, we got this promising young shooting guard Grimes, who I don't want to trade, by the way. But if we're talking about
Mm.
trading, if we're talking about moving going in on a Brandon Ingram, who in my mind is built for the Brandon Ingram. In my mind, looks like he was born to be a Knick. Right? He does all the Knicks type stuff, all the things that we ask, and gets got that little all of that. Right? I think if by moving Randall in a trade, and I like Randall, y'all know I love Randall, but to entice other teams to move off of their pieces, I think you got to start with something instead of offering nothing for something.
I think the Knicks are higher on Julius Randle than the rest of the league. I think the same thing we see in RJ, other teams see. The same things we see in Julius Randle, other teams see as well.
Okay.
So obviously it depends on the package. If you're going for another power forward or a center, yeah, I would use Julius Randle because, fit comes into play. But I'm not switching out Julius Randle just for Brandon Ingram. You want Brandon Ingram to come in and play with Julius Randle and Brunson. So I'm not saying it's impossible to have RJ Barrett as the headliner. It just means that you're going to have to give up more. That's just the bottom line. You're just going to have to give up more. Randall, if they want Randall and they value Randall and they see him as a two-time All-Star or two-time All-NBA player, maybe if they value Randall like that and they're not looking at his playoff performance, they're not looking at, his emotionality and all of that other type of stuff, then maybe if they value him like that, maybe you just got to add a first round or second round pick and you get it done, right? It's hard to say. It depends on who we're targeting. When I was listening to, shout out to the guys over at Locked On Knicks, and they did the crossover podcast with Locked On Toronto, Locked On Raptors. They were more interested in Emmanuel Quickley, and at least from his opinion, than RJ Barrett. A lot of times when we talk about a trade, say for OG, we're talking about RJ Barrett. They don't want RJ Barrett. To your point, Freezie, the same things we see in RJ Barrett is the same things they see in RJ Barrett. Right. He can't stretch the floor. How are you going to have somebody who can't stretch the floor be in a lineup with Scotty Barnes, who also doesn't stretch the floor? Okay. Right? So in a situation like that, they would want IQ. So I do think IQ and Grimes have value. I think RJ has value as well, but not by themselves. Not by themselves.
Right. Well,
you're gonna have to pony, like I said in the intro, you're gonna have to pony up for those guys.
Yeah.
With those guys.
And so the thing with Toronto though is they have a glaring team need. Right. They have a glaring team need. They need a facilitator. You know what I'm saying? That I think that's the main thing. But here's the thing with those guys, because clearly they don't go to NBA games. Right. The thing is with guys like a RJ Barrett in Toronto is huge. And I know people are gonna say, oh man, things like that are overrated. No, they not. No, they not. The energy in an NBA arena is palpable. It's something to be said. If you go to an NBA, go to see your team play once or twice a year, don't talk to me about energy in an arena. I'm sorry.
But are you trading RJ Barrett for energy in the arena, or are you trading him because on the floor?
No,
you missing.
You missing my point. The whole thing, the energy in an arena thing. I understand where you're coming from. But are you okay? Let me ask you: are you telling me Emmanuel Quickley is a better player than RJ Barrett?
Possibly.
No,
possibly. But that's not what we're talking about, because none of this stuff happens in a vacuum. For Toronto, they would prefer to have a guard fits better with them than a non-shooting guard or small forward, despite the fact that he's from Canada and the energy is going to be lit in the arena. On the basketball court, they would prefer to have someone who fits, and a Quickley fits better than.
So what's the difference between fit and team need?
Or team needs or fit, same thing.
Okay, that's what I'm
just saying. That's different than energy in the arena, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah. So if we're talking about If we're talking about fit and team need, of course it would be quickly, because they got to have somebody to man that position that's
Right.
capable of running the NBA offense. That I get that point. I'm not disputing that point, right? But what I'm saying is we have to for RJ Barrett is a good NBA player, right? RJ Barrett is a good NBA player. Does he do what the Knicks need him to do in order to be successful? Right? Here's the thing about that. The Knicks have made the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years with RJ Barrett doing this. Right? And I honestly believe that Tom Thibodeau asked RJ Barrett to do certain things, because the way that RJ Barrett looked when he walked into the NBA versus what RJ Barrett looks like right now are two different NBA players. And if you ask me, can RJ Barrett stretch the floor? I'm asking, what do you mean by stretching the floor? Are you only asking me, can RJ Barrett shoot the three? If
Correct.
that if that's what it is,
Right.
if that's what it is, then I'm gonna say RJ Barrett and everything he does in his NBA career is wildly inconsistent. And I mean wildly inconsistent.
Correct.
I mean,
And
that man shot 29% from three one time, and he shot 40% from three for a season
for
one
just
time.
one season, every other season was under average for his position.
R-
So this
But
is what I'll say about
but it did
RJ Barrett.
occur though, right?
It occurred one time, Freezy. Okay.
But it happened.
Yeah, it happened.
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right. I used to jump double dutch. It happened. It ain't
But
happening no more, you know?
right. Right.
But anymore. So, but this is what I'll say to RJ Barrett is a good player. In my opinion, RJ Barrett is overrated. RJ Barrett is overrated. I'm sorry. Bring on the tomatoes. RJ Barrett is overrated. Everybody is looking at his stats.
Right.
Look at his skill set.
Okay.
Look at his skill set. You got a player who can't hit the three consistently. You
Right.
got a player who takes most of his shots in the key and at the rim, but he is not hitting those shots on par with players at his position. You
Okay.
got a player up until the playoffs who on his drives, his assist rate was super low. Now, okay, you
Right.
can argue that assist rate has a lot to do with whether guys are making shots, but he's not even passing the ball out on his drives to the
Right.
basket. He turns the ball over a lot on his drives to the basket. So I just don't get when people say, if you want to say he's a solid NBA player, I mean, okay, he's not great defensively.
No.
So I just don't understand when people say RJ Barrett is a good NBA player because he scores 20 points. If you give anybody enough short shots, they're going to score 20 points. So
Okay.
now if you're talking about the RJ Barrett in the playoffs, and even in the playoffs, it's a bit overstated because if you look at the advanced stats, he was a net negative.
Right.
His,
Yeah.
his, his advanced statistics was negative,
Right.
right? But
Right.
in terms of his counting stats, it was good. As far as his floor game is good. So if you're telling me that RJ Barrett in the playoffs, who would drive and look and pass the ball out and create shots for others, if that's the RJ Barrett we're gonna get, okay, fine. But if you're playing a wing in my position, you got to be able to hit a three-pointer in today's NBA at least at league average for your
At
position.
least at league average.
And if you're not going to do
Right.
that, then you're doing something else to make up for it. Like, oh, well, right, well, he doesn't do that, but he can self-create and his mid-range is good. Oh, if he doesn't do that, all right, but at least when he gets to the rim, he's finishing at a position, in a percentile that's high for his position. We're getting none of that.
Right.
And defensively, in the playoffs, I thought he was solid. But on the season, he doesn't guard his position. So
Right.
I'm listen. If RJ Barrett flip the switch next season, I'm all in.
Okay.
But from what I've seen on RJ Barrett, yeah, you're not going to sit here and tell me RJ Barrett is a good NBA player. He's solid. He all
RJ
right.
Barrett. Yeah. RJ Barrett's a good NBA player. Right.
Stop, crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and and,
No.
and what's good? The shooting percentage, the finishing at the rim, the defense, the 3-point shooting. What's good? The passing and the playmaking. What's good?
Right. You missed what I said though. I don't know if you listened to me. What I told you was RJ Barrett is a wildly inconsistent player. right? Wildly inconsistent. So there are times where he all those things, and we can look at look at these things together. There are times during a season where RJ Barrett is great at certain things, and at the same time, when he steps his game up in one place to be great in that area, there is a Mount Everest like fall off in another area. That's just who he is. And I'm sorry.
But
You know,
players who are good, are they wildly inconsistent?
hmm, I don't know.
A good player, part of being good is knowing what you're going to get from a player game in and game out. That's part of being good.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
the
want to say he
fans.
has
Yeah,
good
that's the fans'
stretches,
perspective.
I agree. If you want to say there's times when he looks like the player we want him to be, I
Right,
agree.
right,
But yeah,
right.
I agree.
Yeah, and so even with the RJ thing, whether we all agree or we all disagree with RJ is, the fact that this front office is holding on to RJ and not including him in something, or he is their ace in the hole on a big time trade, makes me wonder what is everybody else seeing that I'm not seeing, right? Like for instance, if is there a player out there that you would like to see? Is there a small forward out there that you would like to see the Knicks go after, upgrade RJ?
Yeah, I think OG is an upgrade. I think Brandon Ingram is a upgrade. Somebody keep talking about what about Steph Curry? Can we go look at the stats? Go look at the stats on Steph Curry and then come back and ask that question.
Steph Curry.
His early stats as well.
Steph Curry.
Stop acting like Steph Curry didn't pop till year 7. Stop.
Yeah.
Go look at the stats.
No, I ain't. Yeah, I ain't. Yeah, you saying I said Steph Curry?
No,
You
no,
know
no.
I ain't said
Somebody
no
in the chat
nonsense
keeps
like
saying,
that.
"What about Steph Curry?" What? Go look at Steph Curry's stats. People act like he didn't pop till year 8.
No, come on, man. Come on. What I'm saying is this: if RJ Barrett is not the guy, right? Then why wasn't he in that Donovan Mitchell? Why wasn't that Donovan Mitchell deal done? And if he is that guy, then how come if he is that guy, is he the finishing move, so to speak, in a trade for a star? If I'm the Clippers, based off of all the things that I heard you say, if I'm the Clippers, I'm not trading Paul George for no. I'm not taking RJ Barrett for Paul George. Why would I do something crazy like that?
Yeah, you're gonna
That's
have to add to it.
yeah, a lot. You know what I'm saying? If I'm the Clippers, and I even hear as soon as they call me about Paul George, I'm talking Randall. I don't even want to hear RJ Barrett name. Right? We're gonna trade all stars for all stars. That's what we're gonna do. But you're not about to, what I'm saying, about to trade me three 15-year-old Honda Accords for a brand new Mercedes. Nah, it don't work. It don't work like that.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? So
Paul George is not a Mercedes though, but I
yeah,
get your point.
Paul George. Oh God, I, 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 I think you're a hater. I think
Paul
you're a
George
hater
is
right
not
now.
a Mercedes. I think
Is Paul George a Hall of Famer?
probably,
Right. So
but so is
Hall of Famers are not Mercedes. Then is basically what we're
not
saying.
right now. Listen, Ewing was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a Mercedes.
Was he a Mercedes in year 17? Was he a Mercedes in year 15?
Yeah, Paul George is not in year 17. No.
All right.
Yeah, and Pat Ewing played 4 years at Georgetown, then came in the league. You know what I'm saying? So by year 17 for Pat had already 21 years of high level basketball. Paul
But
George and
Paul
those
George is
guys.
getting injured like he's played 21 years of high level basketball.
Okay, okay. What I'm saying to you is I think Paul George might be in a conversation for the greatest Nick at small forward ever as soon as he get his jersey, as soon as he do the press conference.
All right. I mean, if you're going by his past
Right.
and the games he's played, I mean, you probably can't argue with it. When we talking about what is he going to do in a Nick uniform?
Yeah.
I mean, We will probably never see that. I don't think the Knicks are going after Paul George.
No, and that's the point that I'm getting at. Like, so we agree. We probably won't ever see Paul George, Giannis, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Zion, whoever in a Knicks uniform, right? So why do we continue with the narrative that we're holding on to first round draft picks and young players, trading so that we can trade for the guy? Because that's the thing. Even people that even hit me up now, like, hey man, you wrong about the DiVincenzo thing. Dante DiVincenzo is not here for the long term thing. He here to support the star that we bring in before the season start. No, you don't sign a dude to 4 years, assuming that you're gonna be. No, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? My thing is this: the Knicks have this front office has already signed people to bad contracts for long term. Like we easily forget Austin Rivers. We signed Austin Rivers to a long term deal, and then got him out of here quickly. We signed Fournier to a long term deal, and he spent last year on the bench. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks not gonna. The one thing I know about the front office is smart, and they're not gonna back themselves into a corner before they can shoot their best shot, so to speak. I do want to give them credit for that. I do think they're smart enough to understand how certain things work, and they're not going to limit their moves, before they can get their moves off.
Right.
So,
And as much heat as we may want to give the front office, who was out there other than Donovan Mitchell? Who else was out there? We've talked about Levine. Has Levine really been made available? We talk about Cat. Has Cat really been made available?
right.
So, when we evaluate in the front office, I would like to evaluate them on players who were actually available that they didn't go and get. And the thing with Beal, who you brought up earlier, maybe he didn't want to come to the Knicks.
Yeah.
He had a no trade clause. He could say, this is where I want to go. And I didn't hear him mention, I didn't hear any reports that the Knicks were one of the teams he was interested in going to.
I'm sorry. Who was that? You said
Bill with the no
Bill.
trade.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like players, stars who was out there,
Right.
that the Knicks didn't go after, other than Donovan Mitchell. All of the other guys that we've talked about, I think it's
Right.
just a fan generated thing. I don't know if they were truly available.
I think the whole narrative might be fan generated because the front office don't talk.
Right.
So
Right.
regardless,
That's true.
regardless, like what direction it is, what I'm saying? Like we assign grace to them when they don't show anything that deserves grace, and then we assign blame to them when they've not done anything to deserve blame.
Right.
But and we do that because when you have a front office that doesn't speak, here's the thing: when you don't speak, people gonna speak for you, right? It's just part of this. You be like, man, I hate gossipers, and what gossipers have been around since people had mouths. You know what I'm saying? So these things are gonna happen. My thing with the Knicks front office is, and I understand that I'm in a conundrum, right? I understand that I'm in a conundrum where I want the Knicks to do something,
Mhm.
and I'm frustrated that they're not saying anything, and it looks as if they're a step behind the league. While everybody is trading superstars, we're linked to a fourth guard. You know what I'm saying? So all of these things. When people said Phoenix didn't have money, free agency started, and you and I was sitting together. Everybody was like, "Man, Phoenix got all them guys. Man, they ain't got no. They ain't gonna be a signing." And we sat there that Friday night and watched Phoenix go boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom,
they
boom,
did.
boom, boom,
They
boom, boom,
did.
boom. And the Lakers, the Lakers don't have no money, and the Lakers boom, 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 signing all these people. Cleveland, boom, 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 all these moves. And the Knicks, meanwhile, did nothing, said nothing, and so and since we're in that situation where sometimes actions speak louder than words, their inactivity, so to speak, spoke volumes for them. So Paris Duggar, thank you for the
Yeah.
generous contribution. Paris Duggar says Paul George is McGrady and Penny Hardaway again here. You think so, Queen?
Um, I think they were more on the downside of their career than Paul George is.
Yeah.
But injury wise, probably.
Yeah. I don't think so, man. I think Paul George would come here and may, and I know he's not coming, but Paul George would come here and possibly be the team's best player.
If he's
Possibly.
Freezy, if he's healthy, yes. That's the issue with Paul George's health.
Right.
If he's healthy, nobody here from a talent standpoint. And if I'm wrong, in the chat, let me know. I think the issue with Paul George is the potential for injury, the potential to pay for somebody at that level who's going to be sitting on the bench, who you're really counting on more than a Fournier, more than a Derrick Rose. You would really be counting on him, and he's sitting on the bench. I don't think anybody is arguing his skill set. I don't think anybody is arguing his fit
Right.
and his talent. I don't think anybody is arguing that.
Um, I have this issue that I can't get over. I think Jalen Brunson is headed down that road.
He might be. We'll see.
Jalen Brunson, and I'm not trying to put. I don't want to put this. I don't want to put the injury bug on Jalen Brunson, but Jalen Brunson had a lot of injuries this past season, right? And the guys that play, and I hope Jalen Brunson plays. Listen, I hope Jalen Brunson plays 35 minutes a game for 82 games. I hope, right? But little guys, short guys like Jalen Brunson don't tend to last long. And so that for that reason, I'm stressing that we need to take advantage of Jalen Brunson's formidable years before this magic carpet ride is over. Because the little guards like him, they just don't last. It's just impossible for them to stay healthy, right? I give an example. The guy from Boston, the last guy that was playing at this level, the last short guard playing at this level, he fell off a cliff. He was in the MVP conversation, and looking at getting a supermax extension, and the next thing you know, he can't walk,
Right.
he can't move, right? And so you I hate for Jalen Brunson. Listen, man, I hope you can stay healthy, bro. I'm not putting the injury bug curse on you. What I'm saying is, it's hard for these little guards to stay healthy, man. Yeah, David Parker, thank you. Isaiah Thomas. These little guards, these short guards, man, it's hard for them to stay healthy. That's why I think the DiVincenzo signing was an excellent signing. I think that was an excellent signing. I think Quickly and Grimes emerging this year is going to help Jalen Brunson. But ultimately, I think you got to go out and get that guy to keep the wear and tear off Brunson.
I think we all agree, Freezy. We just disagree about who that guy is.
Right.
I think we agree with that.
So who's your guy?
My guy is the same.
So you think it's small forward?
I think it's a small forward. I mean, if you can get, if we can come across a star shooting guard, are there star shooting guards? I mean, yeah, if we can get like a SGA, and we're not going to be able to get him. If we can get a
they
who
ain't
else
taking
is a
RJ.
star shooting guard?
Anthony Edwards. They ain't taking RJ Barrett.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, Minnesota will throw their phone out the window if
they
you call them.
They signed him to a max. They're he's headlining their franchise now. So
I'll tell you who I wouldn't mind, and I think he could be had, and I think they might take RJ.
Who's that?
Anthony Simons, Portland.
But isn't he? I haven't watched him enough. Is he consistent? I know he's young.
Yeah.
And you got to give some grace to young guys like in his first, second, third year if they're not consistent.
Yeah. But here's the thing. He's right at that. He's right. He's good. Oh, we don't, I don't the consistency thing. That's not an issue, right? Just I want to take that as far from the conversation as possible. The thing with the Anthony Simons is, if you're the Knicks and you know, right, that R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes package is not going to get you anything, right? Then go out, take those, and I think this is going to be Grimes' breakout year. In my mind, from all the data from a certain point last year through
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
end of the season, if Grimes can stay healthy, Grimes is going to be that dude, right? But my thing is, are you willing to let Grimes grow next to Brunson, understanding that diminutive guards their clocks are not on the same. So for instance, a diminutive guard has the same type of clock as super tall centers. Like if a center is 7'3", 7'4", you know they're not going to play more than 10 seasons. It's just what it is. They break down too much. They start getting those foot injuries. They're just not built for the NBA grind. And I know people question me on it, but everybody that was that height or taller, like these guys that are 7'4", 7'5", they don't last. It doesn't matter if it's Ralph Sampson, oh,
Yao Ming. There's a lot of them,
Yao
but I think that
Ming,
for
George
the
Mirasan, Sean Bradley,
yes. But I
they don't
think for the
last.
guards, though, there's probably as much more who have made it than have not. I think for the guards,
I look for it, but I don't have data. You have some?
not really. I just look
Because
at
when you look, because think about Calvin Murphy from the Houston Rockets, kind of like that first guy. That's who for old school fans, Jalen Brunson is kind of like Calvin Murphy from the
I
Houston
think we would have
Rockets.
to go through it, Freeze, because I think there's probably some that's not um coming to mind.
They don't last.
You
Don't
know,
even. Well, yeah. Ain't no need in looking for. They don't last. Your Dana Barrow says, none of they don't. They don't last.
but he's not that small. And I think there's a difference between being short, as Sherman has pointed out, and being small. Because Brunson is short, but he's not small.
Right.
So I think there's some difference there. We
Where's
shall
the
see. We
where's
shall
the
see.
except where's the
There's
exception
always
though?
outliers. Maybe Brunson will be an outlier if
Show me
that
the
is
outlier. Show me the
Kyle
outlier, and
Lowry.
I will throw this conversation away.
Kyle Lowry's been in the league more than 10 years.
Yeah, he's not a scoring machine though. I
Oh,
pointed out a
okay.
specific type of,
Okay.
not just
Yep.
short. I'm talking about short scoring machines,
Okay.
right? Not just short guys in general. Short
Okay.
guys in general can stay in the league, but
Okay.
when you're talking about short scoring machine guys that carry the load, the best player on their team, they don't last. They just don't.
Well, I don't see that as the role for Brunson anyway. I think he has to do it right now because we just don't have those guys. I think that once we get those guys, I don't think Brunson would mind picking his spots. I don't really see him. He can play the role he played this past season, but I don't really think that he has to. I don't think he has to be the best player on the championship contending team. I don't even know if he is,
Right.
the best player on the championship contending team. That's a tall order. I think that's too easy to tell off of just one season,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
The only outlier that I saw is Iverson.
And Steph
All
Curry.
and all these, no, they not the man. Come on, Queen Bee, really? Steph Curry and Jalen Brunson the same height, same size.
How tall is Steph Curry?
Steph Curry is listed at 6'2", 6'3". Dame Lillard is listed at 6'2", 6'3". Even Derrick Rose is 6'2", 6'3". We know for a fact, man. We've seen Jalen Brunson. We've seen Jalen Brunson in person. We know Jalen Brunson is not in that 6'2", 6'3" category.
All right. Okay. All right. So listen, the point is whether we want to get somebody with Brunson because you feel like he's too small and he won't last, or we trying to get somebody around Brunson because we want a championship contending team, which is what I'm thinking. We need to get somebody around Brunson.
Right now,
for whatever the reasons are.
Right.
You know,
Right now.
for me, I feel like Brunson is ready and the rest of the Knicks aren't. That's it. I feel like Brunson is ready. And as fans, a lot of us want to wait for IQ to get ready, wait for Grimes to get ready or be ready.
Right.
That could be next year,
Or it
but
could
it
be the
could
year
be two
after.
or 3 years from now.
Right.
You
Queen Bee.
understand what
Now
I'm
we
trying to say?
cooking.
And I
Now
feel
we
like
talking.
Brunson is ready now. Brunson showed us
Get him,
from
Queen Bee.
the playoffs. If you watched him in the play going into the playoffs, I said, you know what? I saw him in Dallas, but I want to see what this guy can do
Right.
with us now, full-time point guard. And
Thank
he
you.
showed us he
Yep.
ready right
Right
now.
now. Right
Right now.
now.
And you
Right
asking
now.
him to wait for quickly, or you asking him to wait for Grimes?
And or
Come
RJ to
on.
get or RJ Barrett to get consistent.
Right. Come on.
That's the whole that's been the
Yeah,
whole thing
no,
I've been
no, I'm
talking
with
about.
you on that. When you frame it that way, yeah, I feel like so that's why when people like,
Where is the
why are we
sense of
being so
urgency?
impatient? What do you mean?
Right.
Why are you being so impatient? So you're just gonna sit here and just waste Brunson's prime waiting for a Grimes or quickly. Come
Right.
on.
Right. Oh,
If you don't have an opportunity, that's different.
that's different.
But if there's an opportunity, you gotta maximize. You gotta maximize your window anyway in the NBA. Period.
Queen Bee. And so I'm absolutely positively right there with that place that you are right now. I'm with you right there at that place that you are right now. Right. And for that reason, I'm frustrated that the draft went by and the Knicks didn't make a move. Now on draft night, you didn't necessarily have to draft a player, but draft night is where teams get together and make moves. Everybody is in the same place at the same time, right? You could have traded RJ or whoever for an upgrade while everybody was in the same place at the same time, right? But they didn't. And then free agency started. The new league year started, and they didn't make the move. See, because I've been told, they got a million picks and a million young assets, man. They just waiting on the right move, right? But what is the right move, right? How are you telling me they waiting on the right move when Jalen Brunson's, in theory, his biological clock is ticking right now, right? You got to go get pieces in place because you know what, and I hate to say this, but holding on to the kids, the young guys, I like having the young guys around, right? But every league year, new young kids come into the league. How about getting a guy to go with Brunson right now? Take advantage of where he is, right? Escalate the move along. I'm not saying blow up the team, right? Because if trading 2 or 3 young guys blow up your team, you're not really in the place that you thought you were in the first place.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, I'm thinking like, yo, why hadn't we done something?
But is it possible that that move is not out there? And anybody in the chat, if you're still talking about developing the young guys, like you like 2 years, 2 seasons behind now, at least 1 season behind. Like that part is over. That part is over.
Right.
But
In my
is
mind,
there not a move out there? Like, see, I could be a bit more critical. See, there's one thing to say we need to maximize his window, and we're sitting here watching players go off, star players go off the board.
right.
But if that's not the case, though, Freezy, you have to wait because there's nobody out there. That's all I'm saying. So the question is, are there players out there? Are there star players out there that the Knicks are sitting on their hands? And I don't know if I see
Yes.
that.
Yes. Let me say this real quick. The year that Randall and Tibbs dragged that disgusting roster to the playoffs, that reset all of our talk right there. Because at a bare minimum, Tibbs is a first round level coach, and Randall at a bare minimum is a borderline type all-star. You know what I'm saying? So right there, you got to reassess. You know what I'm saying? Do I go get more young kids to bring in here with, or do I bring in, veterans to play with Randall and give to Tibbs? The front office made the decision for you, right? When that offseason, when soon that offseason started, they went out and started signing as many veterans as you can, if they could possibly find, bringing back guys, right? And then the year, so they missed the playoffs with that, whatever, blah blah blah, and then the very next year they got rid of those veterans and brought in different veterans, right? My thing is ultimately the Knicks front office is not going to give the people what they want, because there's no way, in my mind, there's no way you can tell me that Kevin Durant gets traded, Bradley Beal gets traded, Donovan Mitchell gets traded, Dame Lillard is on the block, James Harden wants out of Philly. Like all these stars are looking to relocate, and the Knicks are saying no. I want an even better guy than that. Really? Who do you want? Michael Jordan's not coming back, y'all. Michael Jordan's not coming back now. And now, if they would have said, you know what? No, no. Well, two things. Okay. So if they said, yeah, we want a bigger star than an old Kevin Durant, a bigger star than an overrated Bradley Beal, then who is a bigger star than them? Giannis, Jokic, Embiid?
Yeah,
If that's if is Queen Bee, is that their targets?
I'm not sure. I'm
Because
not sure because for me, I always feel like you can do a little, you could do an upgrade, and then if a star becomes available, you could just put that upgrade in the trade. So, for example, if the Knicks were able to trade for OG, if they were able to trade for Brandon Ingram, and a
right,
super duper star becomes available, you can put those guys in the trade. So, I don't think you have to stand pat.
right,
You can upgrade some. Just make sure you're
right.
upgrading for players that once the superstar becomes available, that guy you can put in
Or
a
you
trade.
could move the other pieces on your roster. If you get Brandon Ingram, and then you still have a Quickly or an RJ or a whoever left,
Mhm.
you could put those guys in
And
that
then Giannis
trade.
becomes available. Now Randall can go
Right.
because you
And
got Brunson, you got Ingram. Now you could put Randall in that trade for Giannis if that's who they would,
right.
if they
And
want that.
my thing is with my thing is like what I've been hearing during the summer, and I understand it's a summer. It's a cruel summer. And I know wild narratives are gonna be abound. I understand that. It's summer, right? But don't talk to me about, well, if B becomes available, we gonna start off with the kid. We gonna start off with Grimes and RJ. Philly ain't won't really,
No, yeah.
really,
Let me tell you, the poorer your package is, the bigger it's going to have to be.
right,
So basically, if you want to keep Randall out of that trade, and I'm not sure about a Randall Giannis fit, but let's just say you wanted to keep Randall out,
right,
you better hope you got curtains left when you finish
right.
putting that
You
package
better,
together.
because you ain't gonna have no sink, no rugs, no nothing. Milwaukee coming for everything.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I'm saying, Queen Bee, like where we are. I feel like we are behind again. Like this front office stays a step behind everybody else when everybody else is moving. Like it. Think about the trade package Indiana got for Obi Toppin, right? Indiana traded for Obi, right? Obi Toppin may go there and start. He might. I don't know. I like Jarris Walker better than I like Obi. Jarris Walker has a is has some things at power forward that I like,
Mhm.
right? But say Obi is the starter at the beginning of the season while this rookie comes along, right? As Knicks fans, we attended the league. We traded a starting NBA power forward for 2 second-round picks. That's going to be somewhere between 54 and 60, right? So what message does that tell me? That tells me either our young guys don't have the appeal of other young talent around the league, or our front office is getting hosed in trades?
I'll just add some context to that. I think the new collective bargaining agreement has a lot to do with that. So remember, it wasn't just 2 second round picks; it was also a traded player exception.
Right.
Chris Duarte also went for 2 second round picks.
Right.
Robert Grant Williams, I believe his name is, from Boston. Boston got back
Right.
two second round picks, and I believe they also got back a traded player exception. I'm not sure.
Right.
I think with the new collective bargaining agreement, these second round picks are becoming super valuable, and teams don't want to take on salary. I
Okay.
think that's the thing. They don't want to take on salary. Now, you could have got a future first. A future first, you're not taking on salary. But Obi Toppin wasn't the only one to go for 2 second round picks. In all fairness, to the Knicks.
Well, the thing about that though is all three of those situations are different. Grant Williams was gone, and the Celtics kind of, once
Got
they got
something from it.
Porzingis, you know what I'm saying? They already knew. So the Celtics got something. They were like, let's just jump in and get something because he's already gone. Let's just see if we can get something for him. Obi, however, the Knicks wanted him gone, and there were no takers. The only perceived taker was Indiana. Like, we never heard another NBA team that was even interested. And so Indiana basically was like, we holding all the cards, so to speak. So you either gonna take this or take nothing.
And the Knicks could have the Knicks could have brought him back.
They could have. They should have.
They could
In
have
my
brought him
opinion.
back. But I guess they just did. I think they did him a solid. They wanted to give him an opportunity. They didn't want to bring him back into the same situation.
Yeah.
I think that was part of it. I think the Knicks could have held on, but then it would have been even more dire at the trade line because after that, now he's going into restricted free agency, and you might not get anything if you hold him past the deadline.
Right. 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 No doubt. No doubt. My thing though is the spot that's vacated by Obi,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have anybody on the roster that can fill that spot for Obi.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like, what are we doing as a front office? You knew you were gonna have to replace Obi, and then even in unrestricted not unrestricted free agency, but that too. But I'm talking about after the draft, undrafted free agents were available. We still didn't at least go out and get a live body that we could put there.
I don't
And
think they're finished though. I think in training camp there'll be a few prospects.
yeah, I think they finished maybe. I think what you see now. I think they'll bring in camp bodies. But I don't think they're going to bring in something significant. I mean,
As a backup for Obi, you don't think so? I mean,
no,
as a backup to Randall?
no, no. It's not. It's just not the way we do stuff. It's just not the. It's just not the way we do stuff. And then, quite frankly, the Jalen Martin kid, and I know he's an undrafted free agent, right? I know it's an undrafted free agent. What I would say is I think we should at least consider letting the young guys get some type of, let's see what they can do. Because when you put the older guys on those 10-day, I'm sorry, not 10-day, but the 2-way contracts, I don't understand. Like, for instance, why are we trying to develop Daquan Jeffries?
Right. 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 If you ask me, here come the tomatoes. If you ask me, McBride should be down on a 2-way, working on learning how to run a team.
Right. Okay.
I mean, yeah. But I think Jalen Martin will get a 2-way. I would give it to
Yeah.
Jalen Martin and somebody, and I would look for the second one off somebody else's team because I wouldn't bring Kills back.
Keels looks lost.
Yeah, I mean, turning the ball. I only watched 2 games. I'm gonna watch the Orlando
Roby
game
looks
today.
lost.
You think Roby looks lost? I
Yeah.
didn't watch the game, the third game. I watched the first 2. He's working his way back to um injury, working his way back. That's why he said he wanted to be in summer league, because he's coming off an injury. He hasn't played in a long time. He's still a little rusty. That's why
Right.
he wanted to run be in summer league, because he's 25 years old, just to start getting his stamina back. So I don't think he's 100%.
I would love. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would love to see the Knicks just plug that spot with a Taj Gibson type guy.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Instead of us searching for all this stuff,
yeah.
just go get Taj, bring him back, put him in that spot. Taj, you know you playing the backup 4 minutes,
Right,
right? That's it. Don't come out here like, if Mitch twists the ankle, you trying to start over Hartenstein. No, no.
right. But
Just
if is it the Gibson of 2 years ago? Because the Gibson of 2 years ago, I thought should have got even more. I mean, I like the Gibson of 2 years ago. If he hasn't lost anything,
okay.
then I'm with that. Obviously, I wanted Jeff Green. That's dead.
Jeff Green, that's
That's
another
dead.
guy.
But a guy like that, a guy
Yeah.
like that.
I would take a Jermichael Green right now.
Well, I heard. I don't know if it was. I read an article of Jermichael Green to the Knicks. I don't know if they were looking at him or the writer just suggested that the Knicks look at him.
Okay,
But
I always thought he
Jermichael
was a
Green,
fit.
yeah, I'm with that as well.
Yeah, yeah, and so my thing is I think a couple of these young guys are going to step out and break out this year, right? But I don't understand, or I can't compute their timeline, right? And if their timeline in my mind is uncertain, I know that Jalen Brunson's timeline is not uncertain. Jalen Brunson's timeline is a certainty. In today's NBA, when you have an elite point guard, you have to have an elite point guard backup, right? And and so
Freezy, come on now. You bringing up another sore spot. That's another sore spot. The backup point guard. But right now it's IQ. Right? Right now is IQ backing up the 1 and the 2.
right.
But that third tier point guard, I would like it to be a veteran point guard other than McBride. I'm sorry. I just feel like we need that experience.
I would love for it to be Mike Conley, and I know that's impossible at this point, but somebody in that vein, some a veteran point in that vein. I was, and so I said that, and then I'll say this, and it's going to sound completely opposite, but I wasn't aware that he was on the market. The Ayo Dosunmu kid from Chicago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's available
But what are you
now.
doing with McBride though? Because that's another 6'3", 6'4" guy.
6'5" guy.
Is he 6'5"?
Yeah, a
But he's
6'5"
still in that
athlete.
same mold. We got so many of those guys.
I think, but he's more of he wants to be a point guard. I think he's a point guard in a shooting guard body. Like he's a bigger guy. But I mean, I'm not for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I'm not for sure.
yeah. Well, who's still available? That's 6'7". Who's
TJ
still
Warren.
available?
TJ Warren.
I would take a flyer on TJ
I
Warren.
would take a
Minimum. You
flyer for
wouldn't?
TJ.
A minimum contract?
Yes.
I would. I would.
Yes, I would take a flyer on TJ. What? Terrence Ross? Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Quite frankly, that's why I'm saying. That's why when I sound like it's me being super negative, I'm not being super negative. Why do guys on our squad like Daquan Jeffries have roster spots when Terrence Ross is out here? What are we doing?
Right. Just
Why?
the up. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Why are we talking about Trevor Keels when TJ Warren is out here?
Right. No doubt about it.
I honestly just don't. You know, And then what got me is they signed Dante DiVincenzo, and then the Knicks were also at Ben McLemore's workout at some in Las Vegas. How
Maybe a
many
consolidating
six-four?
trade is coming up, Freezy. Maybe a
Oh,
consolidate. Maybe they just covering all their bases. So if they need a player, they've watched them up front and they know. And Long Island Sound One, can you please pay attention? We're mentioning those guys as a backup to Julius Randle. You're talking about 10, 12, 14 minutes a game. We're not talking about those guys coming in and being major players. We're
right,
talking about those guys coming in so Randle can go to the bench. They hold down the fort. Randle plays a lot. So
right,
you're not going to, who you bringing in that power forward? You're going to have another Obi situation. You got to bring in a vet, somebody who's already did their time and they're okay with 12 minutes. They're okay
right,
with 14 minutes.
right, right. Eddie C said Rudy Gay. I wouldn't mind Rudy Gay either.
Right.
I wouldn't
Again,
mind. I wouldn't mind Rudy
behind
Gay either.
Julius Randle,
Right,
14 minutes. That's all you asking of those guys.
right,
And you get the experience in the locker room.
right. That's what. So Queen. Okay, so now see we vibing, right? My thing is I understand at this point in free agency, you're not gonna get a guy that is gonna upgrade the entire roster. The bone has basically been picked clean,
Right.
right? When you should have been at the table trying to get those guys, you weren't,
Right.
right? And then now trying to get leftovers, you looking around the pizza box and all you see is crust and edges in there. That's your fault.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? My thing is this. I know Brunson is a megastar, right? But we got to take advantage of this window. Julius Randle is an all-star. You got to take advantage of this window, right? Because guys, and I don't want to put the kiss of death on Jalen Brunson, but
Will Barton, I like him too, but
I
I don't think he's more 3 than a 4, right?
Will Barton is more 2 and 3.
More 2, 3
Yeah, like
than
so. What
4.
do you do with Josh Hart?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You just can't. We just can't.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Like at this point, there is no significant upgrade to the Knicks roster without a trade.
Without a trade, correct.
Unless Grimes and Quickly come back and they are dynamic. And I believe one of them will. I just can't at this stage. I can't predict which one is gonna do it.
Yeah.
For my money, I'm thinking it's gonna be Grimes. Even though Quickly in 22 starts last year put up similar numbers to Jalen Brunson. 22 points a game, 47% from the floor, 41% from 3, 80% from the free throw line. Those numbers, and it was on less shots than Brunson as a starter, right? And I'm not saying that Brunson is a system player. All I'm saying is that Brunson is a mega star in the making. If we just had somebody complimentary, like I would do to me, the Anthony Simons deal should be done, and then we should lock that in for like the next 2 seasons, easy.
But I just think he's another young guy. I just think if you're gonna put somebody besides Brunson, I would want somebody who's been in the league just a little bit longer, because he's still got some. I mean, all players got growing to do. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's still got a little more growing to do.
They came in the league around the same time.
Yeah. So
It's just they started.
but Brunson
with
is
a
way ahead of
4-year
his
starter.
trajectory.
Yeah. Brunson was a 4-year player in college, whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah. But let me ask this: Are you talking? So you're talking about? Are you talking about NBA years or actual age?
NBA years. Somebody who that's been through the paces a little bit.
Right.
I think Anthony Simons, you still waiting for him to me, I would put him in the same. He might be a little ahead of Grimes in IQ, but he's still trying to find himself as well. I'm not talent wise, but he's still trying to find his way as well. Listen, and I would, if I could, I would go all in on Brandon Ingram, injuries and all, because his injury history, if you look at it, is similar to Paul George. But he's younger though. And so
Okay.
you feel like you don't have to worry about like how many games am I going to be able to get out of this guy before he just starts getting too old to play. Like you're not going to have that issue with Brandon Ingram. It's just, is he going to get a toe injury and is it going to keep him out 30 games? Is he going to get a thumb injury that's going to keep him out another 25? Like that's the issue with Ingram. But you're not also going up against the time clock of age with him.
Okay.
But again, to your point, that's trades. Other than trades, there's no way to really upgrade this team. This is gonna, if the Knicks don't make a trade, this is the team heading into training camp.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is it.
My thing is with Simons, I think you can get him cheaply. I think you could probably do him for it wouldn't even take maybe an RJ and a pick for Simons. And it's not because Simons is a bad player. It's because their organization is moving in a different direction. And if you're the Knicks front office, you have to assume that everybody is looking to. You remember when Halliburton got traded and we were like, yo, why weren't we in on Halliburton? We was calling about De'Aaron Fox. It's one of those things. While everybody's looking at Dame Lillard, you could probably get Anthony Simons. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't see Anthony Simons being a fit on this team, Freezie. I just feel like he's too young. If Brunson is there right now and you want to bring in somebody with Brunson that's going to help him along, I don't think Simons is the guy. I just don't think he's done enough in the league.
So he's 1 year younger than Jalen Brunson.
It's not about the age. It's just about the experience, and not even the experience. What type of experience you've had?
Yeah, he's been a starter.
You think Anthony? To me, when I think of Anthony Simons, I think of here we go with another young player. Here we go with another player, just like a Quickly, just like a Grimes, who has to grow and continue to find his way. He's not there yet. He could develop into that. He might not. Brandon Ingram already know he that. SGA already know he that. I think when you bringing in somebody to put next to Brunson, you got to know he that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I believe he's that.
You believe Simons is that,
right? But to your point though, we agree, right? But we just agree differently, right? Because you remember when we were talking about adding the bench pieces, you notice I started talking about Terrence Ross's, Taj Gibson's, TJ Warren's, guys like that to kind of backfill the roster with veterans. In the starting lineup, I need dynamic. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Like
if you're talking about dynamic, he has dynamic. I'm looking for a star that to put between Brunson and Julius Randle.
Right.
I don't know if Simons is that.
Simons is not going to come here to be between Brunson and Randle. Simons will come here to be better than Randle.
Well, then that's what I mean. But between he may want to be, but he's not that yet. Is what I'm saying. And I think if you're bringing in guys right now, star guys, you got to look for guys who are already that. Don't pay for somebody who might be that and he might not be that.
How has that worked out so far?
It hasn't worked out. But what I'm trying to say is if you're trading for a guy,
right,
trade for a guy who is that.
So then keep RJ.
I said trade for a guy who is that.
Right. Right.
Trade for a guy who is that. Why don't bring in another Quickly, another Grimes, and he's better than those guys. But I mean, somebody who's still finding their way in the league.
Right. Right. But that's the star ascension, though. So you're saying get trade for the
Simons is ascending to a star. I think SGA is
SGA
ascending if he's not there already.
Yeah, SGA is there already. He first team All NBA. I mean,
okay. Some people you can have an all NBA season and not be an All NBA player perennially. There's many players who've made the All-Star team that you wouldn't consider to be.
But I'm not talking about all. I'm not talking about All-Star. I'm not talking about All-Star. I'm talking about
even All NBA.
Yeah, yeah.
Even All NBA. There's players who's had a visit or two on the All NBA because they had a great season that year.
Right. Yeah, but you man, we know SGA ain't that. SGA is not a one hit wonder. We understand SGA might be the best guard in the game right now. You know, to be 6'6" and to shoot 50% from the floor and all the things that he does, SGA
I
might
ain't
be the
taking
best
nothing
guard.
away from him, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying Simons ain't that.
No, Simons ain't that. But we wasn't talking about Simons though. We if you're talking about the ascension, if you're talking about the ascension, guys don't just come into the league and be the best player in the league from day one. I mean,
I
we
Freezy,
saw that.
I'm
Who
with
did
you.
that? Derek Rose maybe did that. Maybe something
I'm with you.
close.
I'm with you. I'm just saying the Knicks should look for players who have arrived as opposed to guys who are ascending because you can level off at any time.
What? So you don't. Let me. Are you don't have faith that the Knicks organization can develop a megastar?
I don't believe that organizations develop net megastars. I believe organizations give megastars space to be megastars.
Opportunity, right?
Yeah, give them that. Yeah, give them opportunity. You got to have that.
Right.
You got to have that, and you can't show me anybody who didn't really have that, and they went to the organization. Organization made them that. Nah.
Right.
Mm-mm,
Right.
mm-mm.
I'm here to tell you that two things, right? The two players I feel like the Knicks should go get pronto, right? One is Anthony Simons because he's right at that place where he's about to take off and be all star level, all NBA level guard, and Portland is in a place where they're shuffling deck chairs. Like they just brought in a guy that's going to be all NBA and Scoot Henderson, and they're looking to trade a guy that's probably their franchise all time best player that plays the same position as the new guy that they just brought in. Well, the collateral damage to that is Anthony Simons. So why not come in while the price is cheap and come get it? Listen,
Is the price cheap though? He signed. Didn't he sign a
yes,
near max contract?
yeah. The person that you sending out though, RJ, I don't know what Simon's money is. I don't think it's like 50 mil a year.
No, no,
I-
it's not
It,
50 mil.
but it's probably somewhere in that 32 range, like Miles Turner. I mean, not the Miles Turner,
Crazy. You
like
paying
DeAndre Ayton.
32 million. You got to get somebody already established. I'm not paying 32 million to somebody on the come up because they may not arrive. And then now you stuck with paying 32 million to a guy who's not there.
Mm.
I don't know. We just see Anthony Simons different. That's all.
Yeah,
Which is cool. Which is cool.
yeah, I see him as him and Jalen
Ready
Brunson
about to
around
pop.
this.
You see him as about to pop. He about to
Yeah,
pop.
yeah.
I
And
don't I don't
and
see that.
and what I see is Simons and Brunson being the most dynamic backcourt the Knicks have ever had, at least in recent times. You put those two together. The thing is, for those in the chat, the thing is, you've never seen this as a Knicks fan, so the thought of it puts you in a mode of being passe or blase because it's like, yeah, I don't know, whatever, and I ain't giving up. I'm not giving up RJ and Hartenstein for Anthony Simons. They asking too much, right? So, Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Duggar says, y'all are qualifying Randall as being a part of a championship. Um, I don't know if I
I
said
don't
that,
think
Queen
so,
Bee.
unless they're going to do it in the next 2 years, or he signs for less than the max.
Did you say Randall is a key piece to the championship team?
Oh, I didn't say that.
I don't think we. Okay, all right. Interpretation. People interpret things whatever however they interpret it. But the other part to that is I feel like the Knicks need to make the thing for Donovan Mitchell ASAP. Right? All of this, it's not, to me, the trade rumor stuff is not fun because you wait for all these, you do all the Knicks for clicks and all this stuff, and then you wait and wait and wait, and then nothing ever happens. To me, that's not fun. To me, that I don't enjoy it as a Knicks fan.
Right.
What I enjoy is being in either the here and now, right, or the hunt You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that, and I know it sounds like two different things, but what I'm saying is if the Knicks are on the hunt, I enjoy that part. If it's qualified and verified that the Knicks are on the hunt, but right now we don't know nothing. All we have gossip, innuendo, whispers, right?
Right.
But my thing is with the Donovan Mitchell thing, and I know it's gonna sound crazy and it's gonna sound bizarre, but I think Tom Thibodeau could turn Donovan Mitchell into a prime Derrick Rose. Better, better than prime Derrick Rose, right?
Turn him into or give him the space to be that.
No, turn him into, because Donovan Mitchell already got the space to do whatever he want to do. He had a carte blanche in Utah and in Cleveland, but here with Tibbs, now we talking. Now we talking because Donovan Mitchell does everything Derrick Rose does at an equal level except shoot the basketball, where Donovan Mitchell is better.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
But Cleveland's not
Listen,
taking a package headlined by RJ Barrett.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we got to get comfortable with this team right now, rolling into training camp,
Okay.
and
How
just hope for internal growth. I don't think Donovan Mitchell is going to come. I agree with you. I think Donovan Mitchell will be dynamic on this team. I think there's some other things we would need to do to the roster, defensive wise, with those two guards back there.
okay.
Um, but it's not going to happen um, before the season starts.
Should the Knicks upgrade Mitchell Robinson?
Well, you already know where I'm at with that.
Chat, should the Knicks upgrade Mitchell Robinson? Yeah, Miguel P says for who? I don't know. I don't know. At the moment, I'm gonna say no because we don't have guards that can facilitate and get bigs involved in the offense. but but if we were able somehow to get a facilitating guard like some guard out of Portland, I think we could probably upgrade Mitch, and then I think now we're championship level contenders. Is
You
there
think it's the guard? You think we would need a facilitating guard to move Mitch? I think we would need better perimeter defenders before we move Mitch.
um let me okay. I'm kind of on the fence with Mitch because I don't know what Mitch can do if he ever had a facilitating guard because I hadn't seen him with one, right? Could Mitch become a Tyson Chandler if he had, and I'm talking, or a DeAndre Jordan if he had a facilitating guard? Because in my mind, Mitchell Robinson is by far more talented and bigger than DeAndre Jordan in his prime. But DeAndre Jordan in his prime also had Chris Paul. So I don't know by upgrading Mitch does that I don't know.
When you say more talented, what do you mean?
Um
Because when Mitchell Robinson, not just his offense, Mitchell Robinson doesn't look comfortable with the ball in his hand. Period.
right.
So uh, forget a jump shot, forget a hook shot,
No, we
forget
ain't
any
talking
of
about
that. I'm
none. We
just
ain't talking
talking
about none
about
of that.
when you have the ball in your hand, turning toward the basket, seeing what's going to develop, the option for the dribble handoff, the pass it to the corner. He just doesn't look comfortable handling the ball at all on the offensive end. So when you say he's more talented than DeAndre Jordan, who was another one who didn't do anything other than take lobs, but he didn't look scared when you gave him the ball on the offensive end, like he didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
When we played Miami and Miami played that zone, the foul line was open.
Yeah.
The one time Mitch cut to the foul line and got the ball, he didn't even turn toward the
There was the
basket.
rim. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, I know.
Come on.
Yeah. So basically, you saying get Mitch out of here?
No, no. I'm just saying that all I'm saying is he can be replaced. A lot of Knicks fans feel he's not replaceable. I just feel like he can be replaced. Obviously, he's back there cleaning up a lot of stuff. If you have better perimeter defenders, makes it a little easier to move on from Mitch. And everybody doesn't have to be a rim protector. All of these teams that made the playoffs, how many had rim protectors? They had good defenders, in the post. They may not have had rim defense. You can win a championship without a rim, somebody that's swatting shots. But you got to be, you still got to be an adequate defender. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But you don't have to be a shot blocker to be a
Right. No,
good
I got you.
defensive player.
Because is Bam Adebayo a better defender than Mitchell Robinson? No. No. Now, does he make more emphatic plays? Like if you're trying to dunk in the playoffs, will he foul you hard? Yes.
But he's a better positional defender than Mitchell
And
Robinson.
definitely on the perimeter. Definitely on the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? In the paint, I'm giving it to Mitch. But that right there, I don't have empirical data to back that up. It's just the eye test and opinion.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with you. I ain't gonna shoot you the gas. I don't have nothing to support that. Mitch just looks like the better defender in the paint. Right? To me. I don't have no data, no nothing to back that up. But my point though is not his defense. My point is like the thing that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch catches it and he looks to do dribble handoffs or somebody come get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is more Tom Thibodeau and less Mitch.
But Isaiah Hartenstein doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So how could that be Tom Thibodeau? If that's Tom Thibodeau, both players would do the same thing. I think
Yeah.
he recognizes that Mitch is limited. So when you touch it, just hold it. Don't turn it over. Don't do nothing extra. Just hand it off to somebody. I think you could do that.
Just let Josh Hart come get the ball from you, Mitch.
Right.
That's basically what. But my thing is Isaiah Hartenstein is the opposite player of Mitchell Robinson. But even Tibbs made Hartenstein play more of that pivot role as opposed to playmaking role. And even Hartenstein, when you saw Hartenstein in Denver and the Clippers, Hartenstein can dribble. Hartenstein was pulling up but yeah, and Tibbs is, and I'm not knocking his style. I'm saying systems are systems.
Right.
Everybody's system is not going to be the same, right? But yeah, I don't know.
But I get you. Isaiah Hartenstein is not doing as much in this system, particularly as he did with the Clippers. I think his assist percentage was like 21 or something like that.
Right.
So he could do more. But Mitch ain't even doing what Isaiah Hartenstein is doing. And I think that's just because of Mitch.
Okay. Let me ask this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a scenario where Hartenstein can be a starter?
Yeah, I do. I mean, he's going to be different. He's going to be different than Mitch, for sure. But yeah, I do.
I think we all. I think we all of us in Knicks universe agree to like the same things. Like we feel like there's some potential there with Hartenstein to be maybe 11 points a game, 9 rebounds. His defense may not be at Mitch's level of interior defense, but and
But
his
he's not a
offense.
slouch, though.
No, by no means. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No,
No. I was just adding to what you were saying.
Okay. But his offensive rebounding won't be at the level of Mitch. But Mitchell Robinson, I think
It's not that much worse, though.
No.
Because I think Robinson might be in the 90th percentile for his position, and Hartenstein might be in the 80th percent. So they're
Right.
both really good offensive rebounders. Mitch is a little better, but the gap is more on the defensive rebounding side.
Right. 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 Well, and
But
here's the
yeah,
thing too, though. Here's the thing too, though, with a Hartenstein. You add Hartenstein, I don't think you have the spacing issues that you have with the Mitchell Robinson in your starting lineup. And am I advocating for trading Mitch? No. But what I'm saying is Mitchell Robinson is not our baby no more. Mitchell Robinson is going into his 6th NBA season.
mm.
He is not our baby no more. You remember when we drafted Mitch on draft day in the 2nd round and he was scared to talk, and they had his draft party and somebody in a middle school cafeteria and all of that stuff. And so Mitch was our baby. Then Mitchell Robinson is going to his 6th season. RJ Barrett is going into his
Fifth.
5th NBA
Wow.
season. And so
Wow.
these conversations that we had been having since day one, we can't have them no more. Queen Bee, we can't have these RJ Barrett needs time to such and such and such conversations no more.
Right.
RJ Barrett is, and y'all know I love RJ Barrett more than anybody in Knicks universe, right? But we can't have RJ Barrett shooting 47% from the floor, 48% from the floor in 1 month, and then 41% the next month. That's ridiculous. And RJ Barrett can't be. I saw a thing where RJ Barrett spent an entire month. I think he spent an entire month as a great perimeter defender, and then the next 2 months he was like the worst guy in the NBA. Right. We just can't have this. RJ Barrett, you can't shoot 30% from 3, then shoot 40% from 3, then shoot 34% from 3, and then shoot 33% from the RJ Barrett. Come on. And if that's who RJ Barrett is, because Queen Bee, listen, RJ Barrett is going to be the player that frustrates us so much that we just going to give up on him, because the glimpses are there, but every time you depend on that glimpse, it goes away and he goes in the opposite direction.
Exactly. And I think if we can go back to RJ's 2nd year, when I think Beal was having an all-star season and there was questions about whether he would re-sign with Washington. I think it was this 2 years ago. I think it was RJ's 2nd year. I'm not sure.
Right.
Whenever we talk about trading a young guy for a player who's established, and I think this was the same thing it came up with IQ and Booker. Oh, no. We got to hold on. They could be better than Booker. And I kept saying, yeah, they could. But they can also level off.
But what's the likelihood?
Right. And if you have an opportunity to get somebody already that, why would you hold on to something in the hopes that it might become that? Fast forward, year 5 now, going into year 5. Where's all of that RJ Barrett hoopla? This is the point I'm trying to make when we talk about our young guys. You got to project forward, and not just that, oh, if this guy stays on this same trajectory, he's going to be a superstar, but also this guy can level off.
Right.
Which other player are we talking about? I might want to cut my losses. Like these are the conversations that competent front offices are having. Right?
Right.
You probably could have got more for RJ Barrett in year 2 than you could have got now. Yep. Frank Ntilikina, we got nothing for him because it was the same thing. Oh no, he's gonna turn out, he's gonna be so and so. Nothing.
Right.
So the point I'm trying to make with these young guys is they could develop into stars, they could level off. If you have an opportunity to get a quality NBA player, you got to take a hard look at it while they're young, where everybody is trying to imagine who they're going to be. Because once you get to year 4, 5, and 6, we already know who they are for the most part.
We already know
and
who
they
you
could have
are.
lost value, and you could have gotten more when everybody was speculating.
Right. Right. My thing is this, Queen Bee, right? So you notice the range of outcomes during the season with RJ Barrett, right? Like we were down on RJ at the end of the season, and then he showed flashes in the playoffs, right? And we always get those moments where he does just enough to keep fans off his back,
Right.
right? And so my thing is made personally, I think New York is not the place for him. New York is a tough place to play. New York is a tough place to play. I don't think the dude and honestly, even though y'all know how I feel about Grimes, I don't know if New York is the place for Grimes either. Quickly has a screw loose, right? Quickly's it's got a screw loose, right? So I think he can play here, right? And even with these up and coming stars that I mentioned to Queen B, they might not be built to play because and I know this is gonna sound like I'm going back on what I'm saying. I'm not. What I'm saying is Anthony Simons is a ultra talented player. This dude, Anthony Simons, competed in the NBA dunk contest and 3-point shooting contest in the same weekend. Let's not get it like this cat is not talented with the physical stuff. His thing is ultimately, when you play next to a guard that shoots all the time, you don't get to see what the other guy can do. And I'm not knocking Dame Lillard because Damian Lillard is a top 75 player all time, right? What I'm saying is others in his shadow don't get to become whatever. Like for
Yeah,
instance,
I get you.
for instance, Michael Jordan has never won a playoff series without Scottie Pippen. But we call Michael Jordan the GOAT. But Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen is just a scorer, right? And I know people are going, but Mike is no. All the data says Mike without Scottie is not the Mike that you see today.
But
And
that's with
that's what
anybody, Freezy.
but
Any
that's what I'm saying.
star.
But that's what I'm saying about Simons though. About Simons, we don't see what Simons is because he's in Damian Lillard's shadow. But you come here with Brunson, who doesn't take as much shots as Dame. Julius Randle is better than Jeremy Grant. You come here, he comes here, and I think Simons can almost rival what Jalen Brunson does.
Maybe.
All right,
Maybe.
you got anything else before we got out of here?
No. No.
Okay, so
Not at all.
did we say this? Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Duggar says, if we if you say we gotta bring guys to play next to Brunson and Randall, then you, as in you, are qualifying Randall as being part of. Oh, we read that one already. Okay,
But we're not
all right,
talking about championship. Brunson and Randall is on the team right now. So who can you bring on right now to play with those two guys? You put the ring up there, so you're talking about Randall on the championship team. That's not what we're
right,
talking about.
right,
Between Randall and Brunson right now, who can you bring in?
right, right. And so and then I brought Simon's name up because I think it's a matter of what the front office is willing to pay, and I think this type of trade is within their wheelhouse. Easy trade to do. They might want to move him so that Scoot Henderson and Shaden Sharp get all the whatever it is they trying to do in Portland, and then what I'm saying the Knicks are cheapskates, and it's simple.
But
It's
why
just,
can't all three of them play though? One, two, and three.
I don't know. I don't know. They talking about getting Tyler Hero in a Miami. Why would they need Tyler Hero if? Yeah, I don't know. It's certain teams you don't know what they're doing.
That's what
I
they saying about us.
yeah, we have
That's what
no
they
idea.
saying about us too. Them Knicks, I don't know what they doing.
Yeah. So, Queen Bee, what you got going on tonight?
Tonight on Dope Soul Sports Talk channel, the weekly Just Nicking It show. One of the things we're gonna talk about is the Knicks staying pat. If this is the team that they bring into training camp, who do you feel is gonna pop the most? We'll talk a little bit we talked some about it today, but we'll talk more about it tonight and some other stuff. I've yet to put the full show together.
Okay, but you will be rocking tonight, is what I'm
We will
getting
be
at.
rocking tonight.
What time? 9:15.
9:15.
Okay.
If you
So yeah,
haven't
check out.
subscribed to the channel,
Do so.
subscribe to the Dope Soul Sports Talk. Yeah, I was about to say Just Nicking It. That's the audio podcast.
Right, right. So check out all the stuff. Thank y'all for sharing y'all lunchtime with us. I'm sorry for sounding like a sourpuss. I'm not really a sourpuss. I just want to, you know, just want the Knicks to do something. We'll holler at y'all later, y'all.